Welcome back to Scholastically Natalie, where we're fueled by vanilla Coke and Spite, because the computer gave up on me for the past couple days because it needed an update, and so OBS just didn't register noise for a while. On the other hand, maybe I'll try later and see if that means it'll register mics now, because my computer hates me. By the way, guys, if you're okay with more watery audio, because it's looking like we're waiting a while for this lovely audio jack to get fixed, just by circumstance. This has just been very bad timing. But if you're okay with more watery audio for like longer book videos or like more H.P. Lovecraft stuff, or reread it and then analyze it, I have been avoiding doing that because I know the audio's kind of junk right now. But if you're willing to listen to me talk for like 15 to 20 minutes, if you're willing to double or triple that for an hour, and you don't think the watery noise is going to absolutely slay you, let me know. I'll do it. If you're in my comments and you're like, hello, yes, I desperately need more of this thing that we started reading, or like this author that we've been reading, give me more of it, please. I will try my best. But anyways, we are doing a Let's Read book talk / book review on Wintergirls by Laurie Halse Anderson, because I am of course not going to be reading the book to you, and I was just thinking about Wintergirls again because it's that kind of book that stays with you because it makes you feel disgusting by the end of it. Sorry, I'm taking a sip. I have definitely missed vanilla Coke. So, before I begin anything else, you're getting an extreme warning from me because I don't want to make you guys feel bad, relapsed, get triggered, have anything yucky happen to you just from me wanting to make this video rambling about a book. So, this book is explicitly about teenage girls with extreme anorexia or bulimia. Please do not watch this video if mentions of eating disorders will trigger you, or if death or like... I will not be graphically describing the eating disorder, but this book does. So if this sort of thing will trigger you, do not read this book. Don't do it. Don't touch it. It is an extreme downward spiral that if you already are prone to eating disorders or you're recovering from one, this will do you in. And if you suffer from an eating disorder or suspect you may, there are going to be links in the description for hotlines and even further info. These are ones that I found while I was Googling for one. They seemed pretty good. Hopefully they're good for you. I just want to put all of that out there before we get into it, just because this book makes me feel gross, and that's why I want to talk about it, but I don't want to make you feel gross. So, Wintergirls by Laurie Halse Anderson. Here is the blurb that is on the back of the book. Leah and Cassie are best friends, Wintergirls frozen in fragile bodies, competitors in a deadly contest to see who can be the thinnest. But then Cassie suffers the ultimate loss, her life, and Leah is left behind, haunted by her friend's memory and racked with guilt for not being able to help save her. In her most powerfully moving novel since Speak, award-winning author Laurie Halse Anderson explores Leah's struggle, her painful path to recovery, and her desperate attempts to hold on to the most important thing of all, hope. So, this book is from Leah's point of view, it's first person, and it basically just drops you right into the pot of how people with extreme eating disorders may think, or even how you may find yourself thinking if you're going down the path of developing an eating disorder. It really showcases a lot of stuff that I've been hearing more about as like people talk more about Eugenia Cooney, because I haven't really gotten into like the eating disorder space on the internet. I don't want to. And so there's a lot of obsessive calorie counting and manipulations and calculating, and like every comment from somebody out of concern, because she of course looks like a walking skeleton, then becomes a compliment that means she's doing the right thing, and everybody's conspiring against her to like punish her. It's a very twisted mindset that is described so graphically and viscerally as she feels emotions, and like you just get sucked into her headspace and this just downward spiral. I can say that one of the things I didn't love about the book, besides all the eating disorder stuff, but I mean that was the focus of the book, so like, it just makes you feel completely disgusting. One of the things I didn't love is that it takes an external love interest man to like make her think about getting better. And I kind of don't like the. I understand that she needed somebody outside of her immediate group of friends to kind of like point out the holes in her logic, because clearly it's not somebody who's conspiring against her if they don't know her. And it does take like his help for her to start processing everything, but at the same time it's super stereotypical, and it's just kind of like the whole like love interest solves everything trope. And I can say I don't know, this book made me feel all sorts of things. I felt so like super super down, like bad headspace for the next like 3 days after I read this book. It was not a lovely experience for me. It was helpful in that you understand how these things happen and develop, and like how the thinking process is. But if you are susceptible to being depressed, it's also probably not the best book. So next we have our quotes, of course. There is no magic cure, no making it all go away forever. There are only small steps upward, an easier day, an unexpected laugh, a mirror that doesn't matter anymore. And honestly, this is obviously from like the end of the book, but this is. I do really like how Laurie Halse Anderson phrases things. When I was younger and I had to read her work, I definitely didn't get it. But as like a kind of adult now, I definitely understand it more. And I do like that she's kind of like, eating disorders are not fully cured. You're having to reprogram your brain all the time until it becomes second nature, but even then it still kind of like sits in the back of your head. And then I like this, of course. In one aspect, yes, I believe in ghosts, but we create them. We haunt ourselves. And I really like that because a large part of the book is Leah's best friend Cassie, who dies at the beginning, explicitly from bulimia. One aspect of bulimia, if you are a frequent practitioner of it, is that having all the acid from your stomach go through your throat so much, it can tear through your esophagus lining in extreme cases. And so she suffocates to death at the beginning of the book, which is. I don't think we find out how exactly she died. It remains a nice kind of mystery for most of the book. Well, not really a nice mystery, but it remains a mystery for most of the book. But Cassie is still with Leah because she is most often the voice that is encouraging Leah to continue her self-harm throughout most of the book, but then also sometimes discouraging her. It's a mix because Leah's mind is at war with itself. So I think this is a very controversial topic to discuss. Not in that, like, oh, people don't realize eating disorders are an issue, but more in that we have generally two modes of thinking, in that bringing more light to a topic makes it more of an option. Is often something that people bring up a lot in like suicide, because that's also another thing where people are like, oh, well, if we talk to kids about it, then kids think they should do it, which I don't quite agree with. I'm a fence sitter on this, of course, because I don't know when I'm really not I'm only not a fence sitter in like certain topics. But I've seen several reviews, some of which were praising Laurie for like this really great expression of like eating disorders and the psychology of them, and like this super moving story, which it is incredibly moving. But then other people were like, this kind of glorifies eating disorders. Like if somebody already has a disordered way of thinking, this could push them into an eating disorder. And I the first review I saw on Goodreads was actually somebody saying, "Thanks, this made me develop an eating disorder," which is not great. And I think that's kind of what we're all inherently aware of, is that exposing certain content and certain topics to people who are already inclined to that way of thinking, whatever it may be, can cause them to go further into that behavior. So, like, I wouldn't say that maybe, like, a book is the reason somebody has an eating disorder, but it might be what pushed them down that path, right? Like, you hadn't considered it until you read the book, and it gave you that idea. And it's kind of a tricky thing. It has been disproven in court, because there's been, like, murderers who have been like, oh, TV made me do it, which is obviously untrue. But if you have a disordered way of thinking and you watch somebody murder someone a certain way on TV, maybe you'll reenact it. So it's always that kind of... Sometimes the content reaches impressionable people. Again, I think it's important to talk about eating disorders. Too often they're quiet, and they kind of creep up on you. I know that, like, Tumblr used to have a pretty big pro-anorexia community. I was never part of it, obviously, so I don't know if it's, like, still there or not. But, like, that's clearly an issue. And just to have it kind of, like, hidden in the corner of the internet on, like, social medias, where people who are of the demographic that develop it can find it and nobody else talks about it, it's not the most helpful. So I'm always a fence sitter. I don't know if this book does more harm than good, or more good than harm. Let me know if you've read it, let me know how you feel about it, and then also, how do you feel about controversial topics in books that are these sort of, like, things that people don't want to and don't like talking about? And I hope all of you are taking amazing care of yourselves. I hope you know that you are valuable and incredibly necessary. And I don't want any of you to ever feel like you need to restrict yourself or harm yourself in order to be a better person. Thanks for watching. I'm not going to ask you if you enjoyed this video, because I didn't really enjoy it. I just had some thoughts that I wanted to share about this book. And I'll probably have some more uplifting content coming soon. My friends have agreed to have me DM for them, because my other friend got tired of being a DM. So I'll probably make some videos on that. All in all, thank you for watching. Leave me your thoughts in the comments if you want to share them. And I'll see you guys next time. Scholastically Natalie is out.